Hi, it's Navalny, Siloviks and liberals. This is the explanation of how Putin's regime works. Their political analysts and Kremlin insiders have been imposing upon us for years. They say there are two opposing groups, fighting for power. And Putin stands above them and constantly tries to balance them out. One group are the Siloviks. They're the dumb, sea-headed patriots who are against all reforms. They want Russia to oppose the West. The other group are the liberals. They are sophisticated and cunning. They express themselves properly and know table manners. They want reforms and friendship with the West. In my today's video, I'll show you that all this is nonsense. There are no towers or wings, no Siloviks or liberals. They're just playing to the crowd. In reality, there's just one solid group, crooks and thieves from Putin's government. People who use Russia and its folk for personal enrichment. The easiest way to prove it is by looking at something. Putin's officials value the most. You know what it is. No, it's not their mothers or their country. What does every Putin's official do once he gets his hands on the budget money? That's right, we're going to Rublevka to see the mansions that a Silovik and a liberal built for themselves. We need to compare typical members of both groups, and we found them easily. Here's the chief of systemic liberals. He got into the heart of Putin's system years ago, entrenched himself there, and only proposes liberal things. He tries to put Russia on the rails of development and effectiveness. He's not afraid of unpopular reforms and actively promotes the increase of retirement age. Anton Siluanov, Minister of Finance of Russia, and his complete opposite, an evil, disgusting Silovik. He has tons of medals and decorations and only appears in public and in a uniform. He talks such nonsense that one starts doubting if he's ever read a book or he even has a brain. Brave General Ruslan Tsalikov. First Deputy of Minister of Defense Shoigu. After Putin, Shoigu is the Chief of General Staff. He's the fourth most important military commander in Russia. He's been a state official for 30 years now, and he is served under Shoigu for the majority of his time. He's Shoigu's right hand, the closest person to him. In 1994, when Ministry of Emergency Situations was formed, and Shoigu was appointed as its head, Tsalikov was already there, wherever Shoigu worked after that. As a governor or at the MOD, Tsalikov has always been his first deputy. Let's check if our heroes suit us. If they say what a Silovik and a liberal are supposed to say. Oh yes, here is Siluanov condemning the arrest of Abizov. Here's him demanding American investor Colby to be released from detention. Look, he's even attacking the Siloviks like a furious lion, and saying they are making the investment climate worse. Sometimes he even says that the number of old civil servants should be cut radically. How liberal! He defends the self-employed and says that they shouldn't be controlled this much. Makes sense to me. First, he introduces the tax, and then showed some pity. A true Putin's liberal. And what about our general? Ah, he's just great. He's in charge of the young army. You can't learn to love the motherland from a book. He owns museums and the Patriot Park, and even builds a new Patriot Park in Crimea. Here's the summary. You should love the motherland for its soil, grass, bushes, taiga. Tsalikov oversees the construction of a Technopolis, called Era near Anapa. They're planning to develop top-secret innovative weaponry there. Here's a report about an air robot. It's drawn with artificial intelligence and technical vision. It's able to avoid obstacles by itself and land in a specified area. By the way, this rather dated drone that we bought in 2016 can already do all these things. Tsalikov also fights battles on the ideological front. He protects mass consciousness through psychological defense. He tells about informational threats from the outside that need to be fought against immediately. Ruslan Tsalikov has no idea what's going on. A perfect Putin Silovik. So what shall we find on Rublevka? Where it's mostly part. In a place called Razdory. What a coincidence. Here a fierce battle is going on between our heroes, a Silovik and a liberal. Each of them is building a dacha. Let's look at the map. The first thing we notice is this 1 hectare construction lot. As we see from the extract, it belongs to Anton Siluanov. Now let's look at the adjacent plot. There are almost 2,000 square meters, houses already been built. But there is a problem with the paperwork. In the official extract from Ruslan, we see that the plot adjacent to Siluanov's was spotted 2 days later by a private individual. Wow, there is no way you can be listed like that in Ruslan. It's a registry after all. It should include your name. How can this be? Who could be so important and secretive that this name was officially deleted from the registry of landowners? Don't worry, we'll solve this mystery. Look at the exact area of the private individual plot. It's 10,140 square meters. Next we search for an official who's included a plot of the same size. In his disclosure, boom, it's Ruslan Tsalikov. But wait, we have even more proofs. We've seen so many Rublevka residences of Putin's officials. We know perfectly well what our next step should be. A 1 hectare plot is too small for Putin's minister. Putin's minister deserves much more than 1 hectare. That's why we notice large chunks of wood behind these 2 dachas and learn that they have been rented out. This one to the liberal Siluanov, and this one to our Silovik Tsalikov, whose ownership was once again consolidated. He is listed not even as private individual, but as Russian Federation. That's a new level of idiocy, according to this extract. Russian Federation rents this plot from Russian Federation. We know what's really going on though, so we checked Tsalikov said disclosure and find that he rents a 22,000 square meter land plot. You, dear viewers, must probably be tired of looking at these solemn satellite photos and extracts. Don't worry, it's time for our main attraction now. Flying over our hero's property. Here it is, Razdory village on Rublevka. On the left is a hectare of liberal Siluanov, and on the right, Silovik Tsalikov. The woods in the back are the land plots they rent. Look, Tsalikov even demolished his fence. There is some construction going on the plots. Siluanov is far from completion, but Tsalikov might already move in by summer. Let's start with Siluanov's plot. It's obvious that this is the main building. It's got 3 floors, and its total area should be about 1,500 square meters. Behind it, they're constructing another building, which should be twice as large. It's not clear yet what it will be. Maybe a guest house, maybe a pool. We'll find out soon enough, since construction continues. You can see the excavator and some workers climbing on the roof. How are you doing, self-employed? Don't forget to register and pay the tax. Let's move on to the Silovik. His house is now complete. Its area is 1,868 square meters. Even for Rublevka, that's quite a lot. The guest house or sauna is complete as well. There is also a gazebo within arm's reach from Siluanov's plot. Tsalikov will probably be making barbecue there, while shouting obscenities towards the Liberal Minister of Finance. All that's left to do here is lay the lawn, clear the debris, and dismantle this warehouse full of either smart military drones or money. Isn't this beautiful? They are so different, but they are still together. Our Silovik and Liberal live next to each other in perfect harmony. And it's not just defense that unites them. They both couldn't have possibly afforded all this. We'll start with Siluanov. Although his official salary is 40 million rubles, which is ridiculously large, even this wouldn't be enough to afford this land plot and all the construction. A hectare of land in this place in Rublevka costs about 650 million rubles. A 1,500 square meters house, built from scratch, costs another 300 million. The second house, whose purpose is unclear so far, will have at least 2 floors. Let's assume its area will be 2,000 square meters, and roughly estimate its cost at another 300 million. Altogether, it makes over 1 billion rubles. If we add up Siluanov's official income, actual, not average, we'll get 300 million rubles in 7 years. Let's state the obvious. Even if he didn't eat, drink or spend any money, all his savings would only be enough for a single house. To earn the billion required for all this construction, Siluanov would need to work for about 30 years. Tsalikov's situation is even worse. It's outrageous. A hectare of land on Rublevka costs 650 million. A 2,000 square meters house, let's say, another 300 million, like Siluanov's. In total, we got 1 billion. Let's compare it to his income. We take all we can find in open access. Aside disclosures for the 10 years since 2009. Do you know how much we've got? 74 million. All the money he's earned in 10 years would only be enough to buy 1/9 of just the land plot and the house. Let me mark it on the map. This is how much Tsalikov could afford with his official 10-year income. All this is how much is actually bought, plus a giant house and 2 hectares of wood he rents. In both these cases, we can exclude the millionaire wife scenario. According to the Siluanov's asset disclosure, he has no wife. And Tsalikov's wife earns 15,000 a month. Siloviks and liberals are two sides of the same coin. All this was made up to mess with us. Within Putin's regime, there is only one type of people, those who only think about themselves and their personal enrichment. Where did Siluanov get the money for this construction? Look, doctors are striking because their monthly salary is 14,000 rubles. And the police suppress them and make them shut up. Because the doctor's money was spent on Siluanov's dacha. Sailors of the Black Sea fleet went to court to make the government pay them their traveling allowance for special operations in Syria. But the court said, no, even though you've been to Syria, we won't pay what's promised to you. The sailors' money went to the likes of Tsalikov, who built their dachas all over Rublevka. Our common duty is to stop Putin up with this, and start fighting these thieves, both Siloviks and liberals. The easiest thing you can do is to participate in smart voting. Look, United Russia loses even small local elections across the country. We need to also lose the big elections on September 8th. Register on the smart voting website, and before the election day, we'll send you the name of the one you should vote for to make Siluanov and Tsalikov as sad as possible.
Максимально расстроились. Подписывайтесь на наш канал, здесь говорят правду.